All right, every beekeeper out there knows that sinking feeling, the dread of finding Varroa mites. But what if I told you one of your most basic tools, the smoker, could be more than just a way to calm your bees? What if it could actually be a weapon? Well, today we're going to break down a pretty fascinating step-by-step mechanical method for mite control that does just that.
So, if you've been on the hunt for a non-chemical alternative, something a little more hands-on that you can use even when the honey is flowing, then stick around, because you are in exactly the right place.
So, how does this whole thing work? Well, the idea is surprisingly simple. We're going to use dense, herb-infused smoke to literally knock the mites right off of your bees. And don't worry, we're going to walk through the entire thing from start to finish.
Okay, let's get into it. Step 1, preparing the hive. And you know how it is in beekeeping, right? Preparation is absolutely everything. This first step is all about getting your colony ready and making sure you can actually see how well the treatment worked. First things first, let's get our gear together. You'll obviously need your bee smoker, plus some fuel that can produce a really thick, dense smoke. Next, grab a sheet of paper or plastic and give it a thin coating of Vaseline. And finally, the magic ingredient, your aromatic. You can choose something like wormwood, which is also called shich, or cloves, mint, or even some dry camphor leaves. Now for the hive itself. Listen up, because this first part is super important. You have to temporarily take out any honeycombs. Why? Well, you don't want your honey tasting like wormwood smoke, right? Once they're out, you just slide that Vaseline-coated sheet onto the bottom board. Think of it as a sticky trap for any mites that fall. With the hive all prepped, it's time for the main event. Let's get that smoker fired up and put those aromatic herbs to work. Okay, get your smoker lit and make sure it's producing a really, really thick, dense smoke. I'm talking billowing clouds here. That density is key. Once it's going strong, toss in your chosen aromatic. Now you're ready. Point that smoker right at the hive entrance and let her rip. So, how long are we talking? The sweet spot is about 1 minute. And this isn't just a few gentle puffs. You want to create a continuous, intense cloud of smoke going into the entrance. You're basically creating a quick fumigation effect inside the hive. You might be wondering, what is actually happening in there? Well, it's pretty wild. That powerful aromatic smoke is actually working to suffocate the Varroa mites. They can't breathe, they lose their grip on the bees, and they just fall. So after the smoke literally clears, it's time to see how we did. This is where we gauge our effectiveness and get the colony all put back together. After that 1-minute smoke blast, stop, put the smoker aside, and just give the bees a chance to calm down. Once the hive has settled, you can carefully slide out that sticky sheet and see what you've got. After you do your mite count, you can go ahead and put the honeycombs back in, and you're all done. So what exactly are we looking for on that sheet? We call it the mite drop. It's just what it sounds like, the number of little Varroa mites that you find stuck to the Vaseline. This is your instant report card. It tells you right away how many mites got knocked off the bees. This is the big question, isn't it? You've done one round, you've seen the mite drop, but is the job really finished? Are you in the clear? Well, if you've got a serious infestation, one round probably isn't going to cut it. The recommendation is to repeat this whole process up to 3 times with a 1-week break in between each application. That'll give you your best shot at knocking the mite population way down. So now you know the whole procedure. But, like any technique in beekeeping, it's got its good points and its not so good points. Let's break down the pros and cons to help you figure out if this is a good fit for you and your bees. Let's start with the advantages, and they are pretty clear. First off, it's non-chemical. It's a mechanical approach, plain and simple. It's also pretty easy to do. And this is a big one. Because you take the honeycombs out, you can use it during the honey season. Plus, it's generally considered less harsh on the bees than some of those other chemical treatments. But we have to be realistic about the downsides too. This method isn't a silver bullet. It's not 100% effective. It can also be really labor-intensive. I mean, just imagine doing this for 50 or 100 hives. And finally, you have to remember that the same intense smoke that gets the mites can also be stressful for your bees. And hey, before we wrap up, just a quick but really vital safety reminder. Anytime you're using your smoker, please, please, please make absolutely sure it's fully and safely extinguished when you're done. So here's the bottom line. This is a non-chemical method that trades a bit more hard work for a more natural approach to fighting Varroa. It really puts control directly in your hands. So the real question for you to think about is,
Does this balance of effort and philosophy fit with how you want to keep your bees?